Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really critical idea from Ries's The Lean Startup. We're going to talk about a painful truth, the single biggest reason why most new products just completely flop, and, more importantly, how you can avoid it by figuring out what your customers actually want.
Okay, so let's jump right in with a question that, every single innovator has to face at some point. We get so obsessed with being efficient, right? But what if all that efficiency is just making us really, really good at doing the exact wrong thing?
So you probably think the biggest waste is, missing a deadline or going over budget, but the real danger, the real killer, is way more subtle. It's this idea of achieving failure. Think about that, perfectly, flawlessly executing a plan that was doomed from the start.
And that right there brings us to the #1 killer of startups. It's building something that absolutely nobody wants. What a colossal waste of time, money, and energy.
See, in today's world, we can build pretty much anything we can dream up. The technology is there. So asking, can this product be built? That's just not the right question anymore. It's almost irrelevant. The real question, the one we all have to ask is, should this product be built? And maybe even more important than that, can we build a real sustainable business around it?
And the author, Ries, he learned this lesson the absolute hardest way possible with his own startup, IMVU. It's a classic failure story, and it really starts at what seemed like a complete dead end.
So let's set the scene. It's 2004. IMVU has this really clever plan. Instead of trying to build a whole new chat app from scratch, they're going to create a 3D avatar add-on that works with the apps people already use. It sounds like a brilliant strategy, right? Just piggyback on what's already popular. What could possibly go wrong?
So the team just grinds for 6 months straight. They're slaving away, perfecting the tech, arguing about every little feature, squashing every bug they can find. They were building this thing exactly to their grand vision. And they were absolutely terrified of shipping something that wasn't perfect, a low-quality product. So finally, after all that work, they launch. They release it to the public, they're holding their breath, waiting for all the feedback, and then just crickets. Absolutely nothing. All their fears about getting criticized, totally gone, because nobody was even trying the product. That initial feeling of relief, like, phew, no bad reviews, it just turned into this deep, frustrating silence.
And that's when the painful realization hit home. It just didn't matter how beautiful their code was, or that it was bug-free. 6 months, all that effort, completely wasted on a product that their customers just flat out refused to use.
But you know what? This massive failure, it led to this really powerful epiphany. It forced a completely new way of thinking about progress. A world where progress isn't just about shipping code. So instead of measuring progress by, how many features you shipped or what milestones you hit, Ries came up with this new unit of measurement, validated learning. And this isn't just about, learning something anecdotally. It's about scientifically proving your core ideas, your hypotheses, with cold hard data from actual customers.
And this really highlights a huge shift in thinking. The old way, traditional progress, it's all about executing a plan you've already made. But with the lean startup approach, progress is about running experiments to find the plan that's actually going to work.
So this brings us to a pretty radical idea, actually. For a startup, the experiments you run, they are the product. Let's take a look at what this means in the real world.
Okay, let's talk about Zappos. Before they ever built a giant warehouse or a crazy logistics empire, the founder, Nick Swinmurn, he tested one single crucial assumption. Will people actually buy shoes online? So what did he do? He went to local shoe stores, took pictures of the shoes, and posted them online. When an order came in, he'd literally run to the store, buy the shoes, and ship them himself. That was the experiment.
Or how about this one? Village Laundry Service in India. They wanted to know if people would pay for a convenient laundry service, so they mounted a single washing machine on the back of a truck and just parked it on a street corner. That was it. An $8,000 experiment to see if there was real demand, way before they even thought about building a single kiosk.
And look, this idea isn't just for tiny startups. It applies even inside huge companies like Kodak. One of their product managers just nailed it when he said, "Success is not about delivering a feature. Success is about learning how to solve the customer's problem."
Okay, so how do you actually do this? How do you practice validated learning? Well, it all comes down to something called the build, measure, learn loop. This thing is the absolute core engine of the entire system.
All right, so think of it like this. It's a constant loop. It all starts with your ideas.
From there, you build a really simple version of your product, what we call a minimum viable product, or an MVP. It's just enough to test your core idea. Then, you put that product out there so you can measure how customers react. You collect the data from that, and finally, you learn. And that learning tells you whether you need to pivot and change direction or persevere and keep going.
And here's the key. The whole goal is to get through this entire loop as fast as you possibly can. It's not about being busy, it's about speed of learning. Because the startup that learns the fastest what customers really want, well, that's the one that's going to win. And really, that's the core idea I want you to take away from this. It's a simple question, but it's incredibly powerful, and you should ask it all the time. As you work on your next project, ask yourself, are you just being busy, or are you actually making progress?